Star Wars fans, as we all know, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show is coming this May 25th, but what a lot of people don't know is that the Andor show could be coming as soon as this August. But it might not be the first time that we see Cassian Andor on the big screen for the first time all year. He could be showing up in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, but this might not just be a one-time thing. Obi-Wan Kenobi might be showing up in the Andor show. Let's get right into all this crazy stuff right now. What's up guys, Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars here. So today we're talking about the Cassian Andor show and Obi-Wan possibly showing up in it. Also vice versa with Andor showing up in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, because both are very highly possible. Let's start with the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. So we know that's coming first on May 25th, and the Andor show won't be coming for months afterwards. But the Obi-Wan Kenobi show could have Cassian Andor in it, and could lead to Obi-Wan Kenobi showing up in the Andor show, because maybe they become friends, or maybe they just know each other, and Cassian ends up on Tatooine in his own show, and maybe goes to ask Obi-Wan for help. Who knows how it could go? I just do highly believe that the both of them will be in each other's shows, starting with Andor in Kenobi. So how could Cassian even show up in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show? We know that Obi-Wan's going to leave Tatooine. It's been shown in the trailer. He's not on Tatooine throughout the whole trailer. He's already left in the trailer. We know he's going to leave. It's not going to be a whole nother show on Tatooine. That happened with the Book of Boba Fett. That all took place on Tatooine except for the Mando episodes. So Obi-Wan is going to leave Tatooine. This gives us the possibility to see him with anybody. Ahsoka Tano, Mon Mothma, Bail Organa, Leia Organa. I mean, anybody we know that is alive at this time could show up in this show, especially if Obi-Wan leaves the planet. Captain Rex, for example, why not? They have the bond from their Clone Wars experiences together. But what's highly likely is Cassian Andor showing up when Obi-Wan leaves the planet, because Cassian Andor looks like he's going to be the guy to take the reins of this timeline. And what do I mean by that? Look at the Mandalorian timeline that takes place between Episode 6 and Episode 7. There's a 30-year gap there, and we're filling it in with the Mandalorian timeline. The Mandalorian Season 3 comes out probably the end of this year or early next year, and there will be a Season 4, and who knows about a Season 5. But 4 seasons of a show is a long time to spend with a character. This is a main character now in Star Wars that we followed his arc from literally just a bounty hunter to raising Grogu, being a father figure to Grogu, meeting Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, all these major characters in the Star Wars universe, and he's filling in the gaps between Episode 6 and Episode 7. But Din Djarin himself is not really a big character. He doesn't even show up in the sequels. He's not even in the original trilogy. He's not a big character within himself, but he is filling in this timeline by himself. Now look at Cassian Andor. We saw him in Rogue One, and we see him die in Rogue One, but he's going to be getting his own show. At least 2 seasons has already been approved for a second season, and rumor has it there could be at least 3 or 4 or even 5 seasons. So he could be doing the same thing that the Mandalorian is doing between 6 and 7, with the timeline, the 20-ish years in between 3 and 4, Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. When Luke Skywalker is growing up on Tatooine, this could be Cassian Andor's time, because he's not really a big character. He's not in the original trilogy. He's not in this prequel trilogy. He dies before the original trilogy. We know how his story ends. We probably know how Din Djarin's story is going to end. He's most likely going to die, sadly, but that's just how it goes when you're not in the sequel trilogy. But Cassian Andor we already know is going to die, so he might just be filling in the gaps between 3 and 4 with all his side characters being in there, like Obi-Wan showing up and Ahsoka Tano as Fulcrum showing up. If you don't know what that means, you haven't seen Star Wars Rebels. Ahsoka Tano shows up in Star Wars Rebels as this character named Fulcrum. It is the same character of Ahsoka Tano. It is just a alias that she calls herself so that nobody knows she's Ahsoka. She calls herself Fulcrum, and she helps the rebels all the time. Cassian Andor, being one of those rebels, might work very closely with Fulcrum throughout maybe the majority of the seasons of the Cassian Andor show. And just as Luke Skywalker has shown up twice in this Mando timeline already, we could see Obi-Wan show up multiple times in the Andor timeline after Obi-Wan Kenobi show. He's going to get his own show, 6 episodes, almost a full trilogy, because each episode is going to be an hour each. 6 hours is almost a full trilogy of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then we're probably just going to see him pieced in here and there in the Andor show. He's going to probably go back to Tatooine at the end of his show, because that's where we know he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be looking over Luke Skywalker for the 20 years between 3 and 4. So if he leaves the planet every once in a while, and it's a short trip, it won't mess with the canon all that much, but he can't just stay off the planet the whole time while Luke's growing up. He's there to protect Luke and look over him. He's not really supposed to leave the planet all that much, so it would make sense if Cassian ended up on Tatooine and then asked for Obi-Wan's help in his own show. The Andor show happens to come upon Tatooine as almost everything does in Star Wars nowadays. Tatooine's just the main planet of Star Wars, I guess. Then he might ask for Obi-Wan's help if he needs it. But I definitely don't think that Obi-Wan's just going to spend years off of Tatooine trying to help the rebellion grow. That's just not his story at all. He's going to go back to Tatooine after he fights Vader, and he's going to stay there for the remainder of the time, if not just a brief trip off-worlds maybe to help Cassian Andor. So Obi-Wan's appearances in the Andor show might just be like Luke Skywalker's appearance in The Mandalorian, brief and not consistent. The more consistent character is probably going to be Ahsoka Tano as Fulcrum in the Andor show, a younger Rosario Dawson, or they just cast a younger, new Ahsoka Tano to play that role through the Andor 4+ seasons. I mean, as Star Wars fans, we really can't complain. They're filling in all the gaps in the Star Wars timelines with characters that we love and new characters that we're beginning to love. Like Din Djarin is a brand new character and everybody loves him. Grogu, a brand new character and everybody loves him. Andor, a brand new character. First appearance in Rogue One and everybody loved him, so let's bring him back, have him have a bunch of seasons like Mando's doing, and fill in that gap between 3 and 4 like Mando's doing with 6 and 7. Honestly, we're kind of getting spoiled here as Star Wars fans. For the next couple of years, we're going to get all this stuff filled in, and we're probably going to start on the High Republic. We're going to get a lot of content from High Republic, which is hundreds of years before Episode 1. We're going to fill in between 3 and 4. We're going to fill in between 6 and 7, and we're probably going to get some post-sequel stuff with Rey's new Jedi Order, with Grogu maybe even, because he's going to live for the next 900 years. And who knows, with all this Star Wars content, we could be getting Star Wars content for the rest of our lives. I don't think it's ever going to stop because they could just be going back in time further or forward in time further. You'll have Grogu for the next 900 years, so you got at least 900 years of content ahead of you. But it all starts on May 25th with the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and a lot of fans would be extremely pleased with the Cassian Andor appearance, causing Obi-Wan Kenobi to show up in the Andor show come August. So tell me in the comments below, do you think Cassian Andor will show up in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show? And do you think Obi-Wan Kenobi will show up in the Cassian Andor show? Tell me in the comments below. I want to hear it. Do you actually think this is possible? Do you think Ahsoka Tano will show up as Fulcrum in the Andor show? What do you think's going on? What do you think's going on with the Andor show? Do you think it's going to be a lot like The Mandalorian, filling in 3 and 4, like it is 6 and 7? Tell me in the comments below. Smash like if you like this video, hit subscribe, and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video, and my pretty face will show up in that recommended feed of yours. Don't get me wrong, I am so excited for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, like ridiculously excited for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Like, don't get me wrong, I am so excited, but I am just as excited for the Andor show coming in August or in the fall. It's going to be amazing. I think it's going to blow people out of the water. It's laying low, nobody's really talking about it, but I think the Andor show is going to blow up like The Mandalorian did. Are you as excited for the Andor show as I am? Because I feel like nobody's really talking about it. Tell me in the comments below. And may the Force be with you always.